So that's it. Let's go to Rams-Saints. Let's start up. Right now, this is up to it was yesterday's at 3. Now it's Saints by 3.5. Over-under 56.5. We know that these teams met in Week 9. Saints jumped out to a 35-17 halftime lead. They won 45-35. Saints controlled the ball 33-41 time of possession. Todd Gurley, not a huge day that day. That was kind of where I don't know if that's where his slide started. Remember, he was scoring 8 billion touchdowns a week. Then he slowed down a little bit. Michael Thomas had a huge game, 12 for 211. All right, for this week, Ben Watson's the only guy in the injury report. Ben Watson's got an illness. Didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. I would imagine that if he recovers, he'll be fine to play. But we talked Sheldon Rankins, the Saints' terrific young defensive tackle, hurt. I think he tore his Achilles last week. He's going to be out. That's a big loss for them against a team that runs pretty well in the Rams and now has a two-headed running attack.
Yeah, it's the fact that the Rams have been able to make the running game even better has been impressive. I mean, and who saw C.J. Anderson kind of come out of nowhere
right
to take over for Todd? I mean, it's been a pretty interesting storyline. And, like I said, Todd Gurley could be the best running back in the league, and he goes out for a while with an injury, and C.J. Anderson just kind of comes in and rolls. You don't see that happen too often, and it just makes the Rams a deeper team and a more dangerous team. You have two kind of that 1-2 punch. The Saints have it too, but the fact the Rams have it now, it really makes that really is an impressive thing for them.
Yep. All right, Rams. A little background. 6-2 on the road, but 4-4 against the spreads. While the Saints, they're 7-2 at home, but 4-5 against the spread. Again, Week 17 game we kind of have to throw out though because they're resting everybody. I'm wondering the thing that's giving me pause. And Ryan and I talked about it on Wednesday. We talked about Rankins a minute ago. Them losing him, that's a tough one. He's a terrific run stopper. He's a good defensive tackle, right? So Jared Goff's issue is when he's under pressure, he really struggles. He's not especially mobile. You wonder if the Saints are going to put less pressure on him now that they're a good man down, one of their best defensive players down. Like I wonder, I'm starting to wonder how much that injury could impact, and maybe I'm overthinking it, how much that can impact the Saints defense and how they play against Goff.
I don't know. It's interesting because I guess it depends who you want to try to beat you. Do you want to put all your effort into stopping Gurley and Anderson and let Goff beat you? If I'm the Saints, I'm thinking that's kind of what I want to do.
Agreed.
Jared Goff has so he's certainly not an elite quarterback at this point. I'm not sure he's even like a top 10 quarterback at this point. And he's fine, but is he a guy that can pass you to the Super Bowl, that can throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in this situation? I know he has in the past put up, pretty big numbers, but he hasn't played that great lately.
Right.
I don't know. If I'm the Saints, I'm still putting my eggs in. Let's stop Gurley. Let's stop Anderson. Let's see if Jared Goff can beat us on the road in a high pressure situation. He didn't do it earlier in the season in New Orleans. Let's see if he can do it this time. I don't think he can. I'm the Saints. That's the direction I'm going in. Stop Gurley, stop Anderson, make Goff beat me.
Right. And it's more challenging without Rankins, I guess. But I agree with you. I'd rather put my eggs in that basket. If I was going to focus somewhere, that's where I'd go. And the Saints have been good at stopping the run. I mean, they're one of the top 5 run defenses in the league. They've been strong. Like I said, that's why that injury, that's kind of, it keeps sticking in my head. That's a bad one. The Rams also, by the way, they have Alvin Kamara had 4 catches for 34 yards. Kamara had he's a terrific receiving back. Beginning of the year, he racked up the receiving stats. Then it kind of slowed down. The Rams have been really good containing backs out of the backfield. So that's something I wouldn't expect throwing a lot to Kamara in this game. Talk about letting Goff beat you. The Saints pass defense, 29th in passing yards allowed, most of it going to the outside. Brandon Cooks was 6 for 114 and 1 last time. I mean, if you're going to focus, I mean, Lattimore's good for the Saints, very good. Eli Apple's okay. He's gotten better since he got there. But they can be beaten through the air. Now, can Jared Goff do it? Yeah, I don't know. He had big stats last time, which was great catch up. But I don't know. That's going to be interesting. I wonder. I don't recall exactly whether Lattimore was matching up more with Woods or Cooks last time. But I would be trying to pick on Eli Apple if I could and see where that gets me.
And what Goff did and what the Rams did last time they played the Saints in week 9 was impressive. I mean, yeah, they fell behind. What was it, 35-17, I think, in the second quarter,
Yep.
something like that. And they make that big comeback, tie the game up. That was, I mean, yeah, they lost the game and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that they could get back into that situation in a tough environment, like in New Orleans, one of the tougher environments, was impressive, I thought. And so, the fact that now he has another chance to do it, we're talking about Goff and how you want him to beat you, but at the same time, he's been impressive in New Orleans. He's shown that ability.
All right. Other stuff in this game, stats to think about. The Saints, they're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. They're 5-0 at home in the playoffs with Sean Payton as their coach. This one, I don't know. I can't figure this game. Like I'm the other game, which we'll get to later. I think I know who's going to win. This game, because the Saints are at home and they beat them last time, I think they'll probably win. But I do not feel strongly about it either way.
There's this boxing axiom that, when you have two great fighters and one fighter wins a decision, the rematch, the fighter who won the decision oftentimes wins by knockout the next time. So I'm kind of thinking the same thing here. I think the Saints, I don't, the Rams are a great team, but I think the Saints are a little bit better. The Saints have proven they can beat them, and the Saints are at home. That's if this game was in LA, I wouldn't worry so much about the home field advantage. But in New Orleans, that's a true thing, man.
Yeah, and if you watched the Rams much, I was noticing again last week, a lot of communication between McVay and Goff pre-snap. They let the clock run down for a while they're figuring out what to do, figuring out what play to call, or changing it. And this is not a great environment to be doing that. I mean, look, you get it done some, but it's harder. That's all. It's just going to add, it adds a layer of complication for the Rams, I think, is the best way to put it.
Right. And if you're doing that kind of basic analysis of quarterback versus quarterback, Goff, I mean, Breeze is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And Goff, we're still not really sure what Goff is and if he can be that elite quarterback. So you just look at it from that basic analysis, and who are you going to pick between Breeze and Goff? I mean, there's no question about that.
Right. You're going Breeze every time. Absolutely. Like, I'm with you. I think Goff's fine. I don't know if he's a top 10 either. He's fine. He's in a great system. I don't want to beat the guy up. I don't think he's bad. It's just, he's not an elite type quarterback. He can put up big numbers. But
what do you think real quick? What do you think about Marcus Peters? There's got a lot of ink this week for the story about Sean Payton apparently talking trash to him during the last game. And what did he say? He said something about he told me after the game. He said, we're going to see him again soon, and then we're going to have a nice little bowl of gumbo together. That's a pretty funny story, but I wonder if they're going to go, Michael Thomas beat him up pretty good.
Yeah. Last
game. They didn't have Aqib Talib at the time, and Aqib Talib back with the Rams obviously makes a difference.
Yep.
So it's going to be unclear if Peters is going to be on Thomas the entire time, or if he should have taken one.
He shouldn't. He's no good. I mean, he's struggled all year.
Yeah. So, I wonder if they're going to or maybe they'll put Talib on Thomas this time. Maybe that's a better play. I just wonder, now that there's this element of trash talking and gumbo eating, that kind of thing, I wonder how that affects things.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I think the Saints win through the air. The weird thing about the Saints, though, after Thomas, their pass and Kamara, their pass receiving game is kind of weak. Ted Ginn's probably your next best receiver.
Yeah.
So, if you can lock down Thomas, you got a pretty, there's ways to stop that passing game. I mean, Breeze is great. He finds people, but he doesn't have a lot to work with.
No, but, we talk about that running game. That running game is really good, too, with Kamara and Mark Ingram. So there is a little bit of flexibility there. If that pass game if they're really shutting down Thomas and Ginn is doing kind of the normal thing he's done throughout his career. He's only got 17 catches this year, doesn't he?
Well, he's hurt for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 30 targets, 17 catches, not a great percentage there. he's Ginn's kind of been a guy who's just always kind of been there.
Yeah, he's a drops guy too. He's a fast drops guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. No, I mean, after Thomas, they really drop off. But they like this the backup of the running game, I think, makes me a little more comfortable with that.
Are you pretty strong with this? Pretty strong feeling about the Saints?
Yeah, I think the Saints are gonna win. I think they're gonna cover. Neither of these games was too difficult for me to decide.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
this one I actually picked the Rams against spread. I just think it'll be a close game. I mean, I could see your side of it. Like I said, I don't feel strongly.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be close. And on the over/under, again, right now we're at 56.5. How on earth do you bet under in this game? Like I don't see it at all.
Yeah, in that dome with those two teams, this to me seems like a pretty easy call. But then you're like, what does Vegas know that I don't know?
Right.
like those kind of, like, they must know this line is a little low. Like, why are they doing that? Maybe and a lot of times when you think that, Vegas is right.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can't bet your money. You can't bet your money based on that. You got to go with what you think is going to happen. So yeah, I mean, if it's me, you got to bet this thing over all day long.
So right now, straight up, I'm going Saints straight up in Rams against the spread if I can get 3.5. Right now on NFLPickwatch.com, 57% of the fans are with the Saints against the spread. 52% of the experts are with the Saints against the spread. So it's pretty close. So that's that on this one.